Lawn tennis is one of the most famous sports and probably the most famous racket sport in the world. Having been around for over 100 years, the sport has evolved so much since its inception. From wooden to graphite rackets, the sports science and training, the athleticism, but one thing has stayed consistent. Tennis was and still is notoriously difficult to learn. Practicing to reach even just an intermediate level takes years. It's frustratingly hard and you really have to like it to want to learn it. And for those who do find it and stick through it, they'll find that it's one of the most rewarding sports to learn. And then there's pickleball. That lame-ass... Excuse me. And then there's pickleball, a sport that's been taking over the past few years. Pickleball, while similar to tennis, is a lot easier to learn and way more accessible. That's why you see more grandmas and arthritis-ridden uncles playing it. Because it's fun. And a good form of exercise. Now don't get me wrong. I like pickleball, and I know that pickleball, like other sports, is difficult at higher and pro levels.
Second serve.
But it's not tennis. Now where does Tekken, specifically Tekken 8, fit into all of this? Well, it's the same as tennis. It's the most famous 3D fighting game in the world, and like tennis, it's very hard to learn and it takes years to master. And that's the beauty of it. Mastering something this difficult is absolutely rewarding. But not everyone can feel that, because not everyone has the time, patience, dedication, and quite frankly, interest in something this hard. That's what she said. And this is why I think Bandai Namco or the Tekken Team are going in this new direction with Tekken 8. Making everything look flashy, with lights, sparkles, rage arts that make the eyes of those 15-year-old princesses of boys sparkle. They even made the controls easier, hoping that casual streamers with the hand-eye coordination of a newborn baby might finally give the game a try. I mean, wouldn't it be cool for a newcomer to be able to reach Tekken King with just spamming random buttons? The dumbing down of inputs. In tennis, there are different ways to hold your racket. There's a continental grip, eastern grip, semi-western grip, western grip, so many grips to let it rip. Then you've got the different kinds of strokes. There's the forehand, the backhand, there's a one-handed and a two-handed version, serve, volley, then shot types, you got variations of spin, pace, placement. There's top spin, flat, slice, drop shot. Most of these are in pickleball as well, but they're a lot easier to execute with the paddle. Anyway, the point is, there's so many techniques to master, and that doesn't even include strategy and mental toughness. Now what the Tekken devs have done to Tekken 8 Season 2 so far, and from previous Tekken games too really, just not to this extent, is like giving tennis players a tennis racket that they can hold however they want and they can do any shot with it with ease. And not only that, the net has been lowered significantly so that more first serves will go in. Players who spent years mastering technique, sidestepping, spacing, breaking throws, difficult inputs, cancels, are now being told to forget all that. All those years or even decades of dedication to this game, the muscle memory, thrown out just to accommodate newcomers who won't put in the time. All the easier inputs and the new, more useful moves they added now make those difficult moves almost pointless. I remember getting excited from the early character trailers and interviews because they said they wanted the characters to be more distinct from each other. Like King, for example. They wanted, or implied, to buff his grapples because he's a wrestler. Now wouldn't it have been cool if they went that direction? But nope. They went the opposite way and gave every character a move that would balance their weaknesses. And like many players who've been very vocal about this direction, I believe the Tekken team is approaching this the wrong way. Tekken, again like tennis, is a very humbling game that requires discipline, and it rewards you for learning and discovering the depth the game has to offer. I remember practicing Korean backdashes in bed until I fell asleep, throw breaks until I could recognize with just my peripheral vision, wavus while waiting for an opponent. Except on the P2 side. Just kidding. The game doesn't need to be easier. They don't need to turn tennis into pickleball because both exist already. What they should do is double down on character uniqueness, fix bugs, and balance the game properly. And what I mean by properly is minor adjustments to moves that are way too overpowered. Not adding the same moves to every character to make them quote-unquote balanced, because that's not balance, that's laziness. The whole point of having different characters is that they each appeal to different playstyles, different people, different personalities. Now, giving all the characters the same good moves and stances just limits the player's freedom and expression. Tennis has stayed pretty much the same over the decades. Sure, the technology has changed, the speed of the balls and the courts have changed, but they didn't make the players play worse. If you look at tennis now, the level of play has just increased. And with the likes of Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, the sport is bigger than ever. Now, tennis didn't get easier, the players just got better. Now, why can't we allow that for Tekken? Why can't we watch the players increase that ceiling as information about the game gets more and more accessible? Why can't we just let great storylines such as those of Arslan Ash, Ni, and Rangchu, because Bear? If Bandai Namco wants to make extra money, maybe they should focus on investing on the Tekken World Tour to make it more appealing. If they can't remove rage arts, at least give us alternates. Maybe make better cosmetics. You know, fun, non-game breaking crap. Don't ruin the gameplay. Keep it hard. That's what she said. Again, don't get rid of the character's identity. Let the players find what works for them. There's no need to pander to newcomers. The great product will always bring in new customers. Tennis is not pickleball. Tekken is not dead or alive. Tennis doesn't hold your hand, and Tekken shouldn't either. Thank you for watching.